The vegetable vendor auntie played her first game of Golden Flower and was dealt a guaranteed winning hand, the King Bomb. But to everyone's shock, she folded her cards. The other players were confused, as the earlier rounds had let her win a little money. But the woman knew one thing. No matter how high her hand was, the opponents would always just happen to have something slightly better. The others started thinking she might be a pro, but when she shuffled the cards, her amateurish moves calmed everyone's doubts. Clearly, she was just a beginner. Just as a rich second-generation heir tried to raise the stakes to 2,000, the woman's son rushed in and begged her to stop playing, because not long ago, he had fallen into a trap set by these very people, lost everything he had, and was left with a mountain of debt. In despair, he had attempted to jump off a building, only to be saved in the nick of time by his mother. To avenge her son, the woman had come to the gambling den. The son desperately tried to stop her, thinking she was just a vegetable seller, who knew nothing about gambling. What he didn't know was that his mother was once a legendary gambling queen. Her husband had been falsely accused of cheating and died as a result. His final wish was for her to stay away from gambling and raise their unborn child in peace. From that day on, she gave up gambling and raised her son alone by selling vegetables. But now, she had no choice but to pick up the cards again, as she sat down at the table. The gamblers mocked her, telling her not to embarrass herself, but she calmly replied she was here to win it all back. To fool them completely, she didn't even look at her cards and started placing wild bets. This move made the gamblers even more convinced she was just a newbie, but the woman knew that to lure her in, the two main opponents would purposely deal her strong hands in the beginning, and sure enough, she won several rounds in a row. Seeing this, the rich heir raised the stakes, but her son, terrified, grabbed her arm, begging her to stop. He had lost everything right after the betting increased. He pleaded with her to go home. But the woman scolded him harshly. Everyone thought she had gone mad with gambling, but in truth, she had already laid her trap. As time passed, the bets got higher and higher, climbing from $1 to 2,000. The two opponents felt the time was right and started raising aggressively. Soon the small game became a high-stakes showdown. The rest folded one after another until only 3 players remained. Without hesitation, the woman pushed in all her money, 300,000. Her son panicked, certain they were about to lose everything. The rich heir gritted his teeth, matched the bet, then smugly declared the next round required a 1 million wager, or she would forfeit everything already on the table. Everyone thought the woman had finally run out of options, but she calmly stood up and asked her son to sign a donation agreement to take out a loan in his name. Gasps filled the room. People called her crazy, accusing her of gambling with her son's life, but she replied coldly, if her son hadn't lost the 300,000, she would never have stepped into this place. Her words left her son full of guilt, and he said he should be the one to pay for his mistakes. He signed the agreement without hesitation. Soon, 1 million in chips was delivered to the table. The woman pushed it all in without blinking. The entire room was stunned. Even the rich heir started to feel uneasy. He shot a look to his partner, signaling that he had triple aces,